continues to be a little bit of a moving target week to week, as we say.
That'll probably be a 2027 rule change.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit the rule book on that and get that kind of situated and sorted in terms of that. So,
Stand and wave and make some noise. It is
what's going on, everybody? Welcome into the 141st edition of the Tuesday Track Talk podcast, featuring your Three Stones picker. I'm your Jack Mankel.
I'm your tire changer cam.
And I am your gas man.
And we've got quite the episode today. We've got a whole slew of news. We're going to cover a little bit of everything from dirt NASCAR to late model racing. In the news piece of today, Lucas boys took the tops off and went racing at Batesville for the Topless 100, and what a chaotic race that was. We'll follow that up with some late night sprint car racing at the Knoxville Nationals. We will call on our 27th Wheelman of the Week, and man, do we have a category with that today. We'll make a few race picks, talk about the schedule, and we will go from there. So that's kind of on the slate, a little bit of a divide and conquer episode this week, as we're all kind of scattered out and about. So that's on the agenda before we get into it. Fellas, how have we been?
I'm good. Kind of an off weekend for me. I didn't go anywhere. Stayed home, which, as we'll talk about here in a little bit, played in my favor with how Saturday night went.
Yeah. We're in the midst of about another 20 minutes or so. We're going to be riding out a storm again here. So it's been on and off all day today. It only rains for about a half an hour to crack, but I tell you what, when it rains, we get plenty of it. So I can kind of see the branches are starting to move a little bit and the sky is getting a little dark again. So we're going to hopefully squeeze this in before Mother Nature shuts this down too. So
Yeah, I'm ready to roll, ready to roll, ready to roll. Um, a study found that short video content such as TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts deactivate cognitive brain regions. So, just want to throw that out there and ready to rock and roll.
Facebook would disagree with that statement, but anywho, well, why don't we go ahead and jump into this? Let's cover the news. I'll go ahead and rock this first section here. We have, oh no, Cam's got the first section. Sorry, go ahead. A little bit all over.
Oh. I think we lost him again.
Okay, I'll jump down to my section. If we can get him back, we'll get him back here.
We'll loop him in, yeah.
I'll run through my little section here. I think in what we would consider the predictable piece of this, NASCAR silly season begins, and you can't even say it's 2027. Connor Zilic is officially signed with Kendrick Motorsports. He will drive the 48 starting in 2028 on a multi-year contract. So he's going to finish this year with Pecos, race with them next year, and he will shuffle over following Bowman's departure when he decides to retire full-time from racing. Daniel Dye, he has a part-time ride with Jordan Anderson. He will join the 32 car in select races to round out the year, primarily Daytona, Darlington, Talladega, and Martinsville. So he joins them in the O'Reillys on a part-time schedule. Cog Racing announces Colin Braun is back in the Ram race for the open seat-ish deal, their all-star truck at New Hampshire. And then Andy Jankowiak, a pretty well-known staple in the ARCA Menard series, he will make his O'Reilly's debut at Daytona with a team to be announced. So kind of an interesting um, announcement there. Basically says I'm going to race, but we're going to see who for.
Mhm.
I'm assuming he's got that worked out if you're announcing that. I'm just waiting for that to go public.
Yep.
So I think we've got him back.
Yeah, do you
But,
have my news or no?
nope, we did my section. We gave you a little time, so go ahead and rock your section.
All right, here we go. Um, yeah, we're starting to NASCAR schedule starting to come together. So you can start piecing together what they're announcing and what tracks are announcing. But the NASCAR All-Star Race returns to North Wilkesboro as a night race. All three series will race that weekend in a triple header, May 21st to the 23rd. So, All-Star race back at North Wilkesboro. I don't know if we ever talked about it or if I was gone that week, but I I am thoroughly enjoying North Wilkesboro. So for what that's worth. Um, Another one that I love, Richmond. Um, Going to be the opening race in the playoffs 2027. So continuation of races getting announced obviously before the official schedule release, but um, Richmond will be in the playoffs in 2027. Um, Recently announced championship races return to Homestead in 2027 for the second consecutive year. And then also we announced today, or NASCAR did, we are racing in Chicago, but not a street race, going back to Chicagoland Speedway. So that will be on the schedule next year. And then lastly, we were questioning his job security and where he was going to land, but he is staying put. Well, there was some smoke about that last week. But Noah Gragson returns to Front Row Motorsports with a contract extension. So obviously yeah, that hopefully they can turn it around, but it's not been. Who was he banging doors with? Magnuson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're banging doors back there for 30th, so
You
he
got
was
one
going to be
more
in
race.
this. He was going to be in the sport regardless, um, but he's staying put.
Yeah. Um, I can clean that one up there. Another one that in the NASCAR news, speaking of Corey Heim here, he will not be eligible for Rookie of the Year honors in 2027. NASCAR has said that he passed the minimum starts threshold for Rookie of the Year. A little bit of hoopla about that one. Some people agree with it, some people don't.
Yeah,
It's kind of tough to make an argument when you already won two races, though. I will say that.
this is very true.
So we'll let that one play out. Otherwise, on the track side of things, Track Enterprises and Bob Sargent announced that there will be no NASCAR National Touring races at Rockingham next year. This is kind of in relation to that IHRA and Daryl Cuddle debacle that's going on right now. Um, it's a shame. Spent all this time to get Rockingham back on the schedule and working towards it, and now we're on an off year with it.
Yep,
Tough to get back on the schedule when you're off of the schedule.
correct.
So, ASA has announced through their Seal Engine Alliance that they have parted ways with advising tech consultant Rick Davis, effective immediately. He then went on social media, made a comment saying that he was going to make his own press release, and then comments got turned off.
Yes, very quickly.
So we're going to see how that one plays out for that one. In some driver news here, Reese Moran and JHR Racing in the sprint car world have parted ways. Neither organization or driver have made announcements as far as what their future plans are, and obviously this comes off of Knoxville Nationals weekend. And then finally, that was kind of similar to Donnie Schatz last year. And then finally, Garrett Alberson will be out 6 to 8 weeks as he'll be having surgery in Cincinnati for that eye contusion and facial injury that he got at, where was that again that he got hurt at?
Last weekend at
God,
the Josh Rice one.
yep.
Golly. You got
North
hit in the
South at Florence.
Yep, he got hit in the helmet with a piece of debris of some.
Yep.
So unfortunate. And like I said, we talked about this a little bit last week. It was cool to see like the Lucas Oil boys come together. Like they went out and thanked like Carson Ferguson and his kind of crew took care of the merch trailer, and they even watched the baby for him. Like
Yep.
that's the kind of people that when you need something in a moment, right? Like, and that's not just the Lucas boys. That's anywhere you go. There's the racing community when somebody needs help, they'll make it happen. Let's just put it that way.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, hoping for a good recovery for him, and hopefully, it's unfortunately being late August already, kind of for the most part closes out the season really for him, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
it's kind of tough because with Roberts, right, running the owner's deal for Lucas, it's tough. What do you do? So,
Yeah.
but anyhow, so all right, that rounds out the news. Kind of an interesting array of news in terms of a little bit of everything. So,
Yeah.
speaking of the Lucas case for the title, Topless 100 at Batesville. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, saw bits and pieces. Flow Racing does a really good job of putting out their 8-minute clips and highlights and kind of stacking key moments of that race. But we'll just kind of shoot through this one. Man, tires were the topic of conversation. I won't name names. There's somebody that has went out and said that there's a reason I haven't watched this race in 3 or 4 years, and we got to quit going to tracks like this. And I don't watch this race, and I love super late model racing, but unfortunately, the hard part is some of these tracks when the Lucas boys show up, that's their big one for the year. So we kind of got to
Yep.
be careful what we wish for because unfortunately, we are having more tracks closed than we do open. So, in post track rule, they'll go to work and they'll get that baby righted. But into the race a little bit. Dale McDowell, early on lap 15, gets kind of checked up, turned. He ends up on the barriers on the inside of turn 4, kind of sends him to the back with that, and then it kind of starts an array of flats. Brandon Overton was running in the top 5. Lap 23, he gets a flat, goes to the tail. Huddy, who was on the charge too, he ends up getting a flat on lap 38. That kind of resets the field. RTJ had pretty much controlled the race to that point. He led the first 52, so more than half of the race. He held off a couple good charges from Josh Rice and Brian Shirley. Boy, Rice, they're finding speed with that Rocket.
On a roll right now.
Man, we've talked about Rocket day in and day out. That company's got their cars rocking and rolling. Good to see Brian Shirley run well. Those guys charged up, give RTJ a little challenge there. Those guys came from 22nd and 21st respectively. So flats helped the situation, but man, those guys had fast race cars. So RTJ kind of held off the charge from those two boys. He ends up getting a flat from second. And then 11 to go kind of sets up restart to finish, and it's all going to matter who's got tire. And Dan Ebert inherited the lead, and with 11 to go, he held off 2 of the best in the business, including Dale McDowell and Jonathan Davenport. So, yeah, it was just kind of a race of when you were going to get your flat and how you were going to be able to manage it coming down the stretch. But, man, we've been talking about Dan Ebert for a while. The dude's been finding speed, and he now is a national touring super late model winner and a winner on the Lucas Oil Series. So, good to see the Snowmobile X Games winner in his second full year in a
Mhm.
super late model, getting it done on the national tour. So that was cool to see. I've really taken a liking and following to Dan Ebert. So it's cool to see him not only win a touring race, but win a big one for $50,000. So yeah, quite the race. Chaotic flats. These black rubber things right over my shoulder here. That was the conversation of the day. So um yeah, just chaotic and man, Ebert had a chance, capitalized, and got her done against two of the best in the biz. So I do have to say it is cool watching the topless when you can see the driver in the car.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of a cool spectacle. You can actually see him working in there, and I don't even at one point watch you could see right above the chassis there was somebody's helmet hose was kind of sticking out over the top a little bit. So just kind of a cool little spectacle and cool event to kind of see them do something a little different, as they would say, taking the tops off. So
Yep. Um, it was weird too with all those flat tires. I mean, with as many as they were happening, I was kind of on and off of that race, but there wasn't, especially the first half, there wasn't a lot of long green flag runs.
no,
And just that race kind of just seemed to drag out. So the fact that those tires were going as consistently, I guess, for lack of a better term, as they were, obviously is concerning in its own right. I know Ebert at one point in time got a flat, and his was just all right, pure timing. He got his early, was able to take advantage of everybody else's struggles
yep.
and continue and manage his tires the rest of the way in order to get up to the front as well.
And that's what Dale McCall had mentioned late in his post race interview. He just said, he goes, I knew Ebert had a little bit of a tire advantage on me, but we were just managing, hoping we were going to have enough that I had saved enough to be able to really give him a run. He gave him a little push, but Ebert just had a little more tire. He was able to push a little harder. And the dude had a fast race car immaterial of the
Hmm.
tire, let alone kind of all the other struggles of guys, including his own. But yeah, he was chomping at the bit, and you could just tell winning heat races, overall quick times. It just he was going to find himself at the right place at the right time. So
He was he's got the good part, right? You'd rather be lucky than good. He's
yep,
got the good part figured out, and he's finally got the luck to play on his side for this
yeah,
one.
before he kind of got hot, he went through a little stretch of the bad luck gremlins too. So at some point,
I think his turnaround was that World Outlaws and Lucas Oil face off.
yep,
Like that was a one moment turnaround there for him.
yep, wasn't even supposed to be invited, got invited and said, "Let's let her rip, boys." And
Yep.
he's been quick ever since. So
So good that his website got shut down for the amount of traffic that he had too.
hey, great problem to have when you're selling every single piece of merch you got.
Yep.
So yeah, you know, little event. Obviously, lots of storylines coming out of that in terms of the race playing out itself. But yeah, your top three were Kurt, McCall, and JD. So heavy hitters up there giving a push for $50,000. So well,
I was
we
gonna give
go ahead
one
and
last I was gonna give one last shout out. Yeah, you guys touched on it. Not a whole lot to add, but Josh Rice, in the speed he's finding. Not only that, but I think they said on the broadcast he's been to 16 different tracks that he's never been to this year, and coming up that will be his 17th track he's never been to. So
Hmm.
yep,
not only are you finding speed with your car, but speaks volumes to him as a driver too when you're showing up to places you've never been, and you can go at it with the best of them at places you've never been. So, um, yeah,
yeah,
that is rookie on the tour,
rookie on the
and
national touring scene. Yeah, absolutely.
so yeah, he is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say obviously he got the big win last week, but him and Ebert, I feel like are kind of in the same category. They're both finding speed, just knocking or knocking, and then finally both are getting that breakthrough. So yeah, that was fun race. And Ebert, I mean, you talk about that, he had a flat right rear tire in victory lane. So
Yeah.
Talk
Oh,
about using every inch of tire, every bit of tire. Did just that. So yeah, yeah. Feels like the topless too. Last point on this, I don't know. Feels like people either love it or can't stand it.
yep.
Doesn't really feel like there's a. It doesn't really feel like there's a middle ground. It's like people are either like this is awesome, or you read on it, people are like I cannot stand this. Like so, I don't know. That was an interesting weekend to be following along on the dirt super late model world. So yeah. Anyways,
Absolutely.
cool event.
Speaking of cool events, we go ahead and I think there's one really, really big storyline we're going to talk about with the Knoxville Nationals.
My
The
nature
most
playing some
tracked
good,
flight
I feel
ever,
like, in
or
this
no?
scenario.
What's that?
Cam, you said
Tire
something.
changer, go for it. I said, are we going to talk about that most tracked flight or what?
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think my nature finally doing some good,
Yeah, it's
especially
even
for Larson.
yeah. Listening to his in car, and there wasn't even done, and you got Cliff Daniels on the radio going, "They haven't even hot lapped yet. We don't know if the race is tonight or tomorrow, but we're working on a flight for you." And then when the race was over, they said, "You're excused from NASCAR media. The plane is ready. Go ahead."
Yep.
So I mean,
And
that only
honestly,
tells you the dedication that they have to letting him do this.
and I think too, I heard this from a couple different people. I think him knowing that there was that maybe a chance that he could run Knoxville kind of gave him that kick in the ass, some wind in his sails, because he
Yep.
ended up running really good after that in Richmond.
Yeah, he finished sixth, I believe,
Sixth.
correct?
He was running
Yeah.
11th at the time and he finished sixth.
Yeah, he was doing everything he could to get that race over in a hurry so he
No,
could boogie to the airplane.
no kidding. And then, yeah, like Cam was saying, the most tracked flight at the time heading over to Knoxville. I mean, when you got half of Knoxville watching, I was on it at one point in time.
Yep.
And Matt Weaver, all his one tweet that he sent out was literally just the link of the flight, and all of us knew what it was.
Oh yeah, he didn't even have to look. He just knew.
Yep.
So I'm gonna rely on you for this one. I didn't get a chance to see this one. We had a wedding, so we were celebrating that whole deal. So I'll let you go ahead and run us through. I've seen bits and pieces, but go ahead and take us through Knoxville Nationals.
Yeah, so touching just very quickly on the prelim nights here. Both of them were fantastic. Wednesday night was a barn burner. You had Jace Park, who I think he had a breakout weekend for him. Um, yeah, James McFadden and Sheldon Haudenschild very late coming into the fold for the prelim win on Wednesday night. Sheldon Haudenschild went three wide and passed McFadden and Park for the win coming to the check flag on Wednesday night, which helped him secure a front row spot. And then Larson went out and secured the pole on Thursday night, not knowing if he was even going to race, but right, you got to run it just in case. Um,
And just in case became in case.
Correct. And then rain came in on Friday, rained out Friday, pushed everything back to Saturday, altered the program. Got some mixed reactions from a lot of the drivers as far as what that program was. Obviously, you have to do something because of the scenario. Um, but like I said before then, too, that rain gave Larson a chance. And that show just kept getting pushed and it kept getting pushed and it kept getting pushed. And that window became larger and larger and larger for Larson to make it.
Yep.
Um, when we did get racing though, I mean it was quick, right? You just ran the mains and that was it. I will say though, one of those mains, Hard Knocks was the Hard Knocks main on
Yep.
the Friday night Saturday show. Gio Selzy and Brenham Crouch, them two wrecked hard. Um,
Crouch. Yeah. Poor guy.
Broken arm. I thought he would have had a concussion, but I guess there wasn't. But broken arm for sure. Do you guys see pictures of the chassis afterwards?
Yeah, that thing was hurting.
Bad.
Yeah,
So
that
Dude, he
one
came off
probably
that.
won't that one won't see
But
the racetrack again.
no, no, for sure. So
my buddy
obviously,
came off a two with that thing wicked up, and
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
makes a guy hold his breath.
And when you get, I think it was the left rear tire, when you get all that left rear tire right in that chassis spot, I mean that sucker's got no chance.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
So, um, Don Schatz ended up winning the Friday Saturday show, quote unquote. Um, Put him 11th in the C main on Saturday, and fortunately for him, he didn't make it out.
Yeah, yeah, he's those mains are deep,
Yeah.
especially those kind of preliminary races. Those are just so deep because there's so many cars.
Ends his 27 race or 27-year streak of making it to the Knoxville Nationals,
Yeah,
which is a very impressive run for how tough that race is.
absolutely.
Excuse me. Otherwise, going through the mains, right? Pretty stereotypical guys racing for the positions to get in. Larson does make it in for the A main. He's got the whole film crew there on site for the landing, getting them to the track, police escort, gets there just in time for the A main. He kind of stunk up the show, to be honest with you. Led from green to checkered. Um, Nobody even really had a shot. You had Casey Kane. He kind of tried to get in there a little bit. Um, Larson's just again just on a whole nother level when it comes to running that car and doing it without the hot laps was impressive in its own right as well.
Yeah, he missed out on some very, very important with an ever-changing track. He missed out on that very valuable track time.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes you wonder, right? Like you always say, if you can get laps and get on the racetrack, yeah, why not? But sometimes that, one of our favorite sayings, that can be a little paralysis by analysis too. You feel something in the car and you make a change and you go the wrong way.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So
Um, Before I dip into some of the obvious storylines coming out of that, I'm going to kind of work my way from the bottom up here. Brian Brown, Knoxville regular, mechanical issue takes him out of it. First off, 15 grand to start the Knoxville Nationals.
yeah,
Um, Carson Macedo had to work his way in through the mains. He was kind of creeping his way up, and then he had his issues. Darren Pittman, he was strong as well, had his issues, ended up bowing out early. Some guys that you thought would have been good that just struggled. Rico Abreu, Garrett Williamson, Corey Day, Tyler Courtney, they all finished a lap down or more. Jace Park, like I said, breakout weekend just to make the show. He ended up a lap down. Um, some guys that really breakout weekends. Buddy Kofoid finally having a decent run in the Knoxville Nationals. David Gravel just kind of hung around, started 10th, finished 6th. James McFadden started up front. Casey Kane, I think, is the one of the big storylines in that one. Podium finish for Casey Kane.
yeah. He's kind of shown flashes this year, obviously with his World of Outlaw win, but now this, he's showing flashes of Duke can still do it.
Yeah.
But a lot of questions, kind of around his own operation in terms of he was racing for his own team and he kind of stepped away and went and raced. That was for Macri, correct?
Yeah, when Macri got hurt.
And he really showed flashes racing for Macri, and he comes back and does it again, and just he's showing flashes of still being able to win races.
Which, Jesus, speaking of Macri, that wreck on Wednesday night in his heat race, dude can't catch a break at
Yeah,
this. First off, Mac, Brady or Anthony Mackie and Brady Bacon, just or no, that was in the Capitani race that
yeah.
they wrecked.
Still
But
gonna miss some more time.
yep,
Yeah. Again, it's just the case of what's the guy got to do.
yep, 100%. But um, yeah, James McFadden, right? Good run on, which pretty much is a part-time schedule for him.
Yeah,
Um, Obviously, he had a lot of hammers not make the race. Bill Baylog, I hate it for him. I wish and it's a 3-year stretch for him. Aaron Reitzel, just not been great all weekend. Spencer Baston, just kind of subpar. Skylar G made more headlines off the track than he did on the track. Um, Kerry Madsen, right? Just again, just kind of there. Emerson Axum, I think he went through 2 motors this weekend.
Yep.
Ryan Timms, your defending Knoxville Nationals champion, doesn't make it out of the B main. Had to race from the C main. So his crew guys were more impressive than he was.
Loading the way they were fueling that car, and one guy took a digger, he fell off of there, but so I don't know, somewhere along the line, somebody asked him, like, what'd you do? He's like, well, I just pushed myself. Like, when I started to fall, I had to push myself because I knew the quad was coming behind the car. I got run over by that too.
Yeah.
So the guy was hanging out of the cockpit a little bit
Insane.
there. Yeah, the guy fueling the car as they're rolling down. Like, you talk about scramble mode to get the
Oh,
car just to make the race. Like,
that's got chili bowl vibes. Like you're
oh,
working out, you're just scrambling on that thing.
every second meant everything.
Yep. Yep. Um, but again, right? Larson just goes out and dominates, leads all 50 and takes home the 200,000 for his fourth Knoxville Nationals, but his fifth quote unquote in that event
Yep.
because they had the one off with COVID and everything like that. Um, Couple things that came out of that as well. I made a comment in the group chat on Sunday or Monday when he was at the yeah, Monday at the front row challenge when he went and spun out and wrecked in the heat race,
Yep.
not realizing he was going to go and win that, which he didn't win a single sprint car feature or event that paid money that entire week. So Paul Silva's coming home a rich man.
Yep.
I got the full list here if you give me a moment. Yeah, so he won the Capitani Classic on Sunday. He won the front row challenge for 21 grand on Monday. 13 grand on Sunday, 21 on Monday. He won his 12 grand prelim night. He won the pole for 2 grand. He won the Hockett Mr. Sprint Car Championship on for 10 grand, and then he won the 200 grand Knoxville Nationals.
So that's nearly a $300,000 weekend. Weekend,
Week.
however you want to describe it.
And you didn't even know if you were going to race.
That Silva is going to be all right just with that alone.
Yep. Yep. Um, Kind of on a downer note for this one. This one's courtesy of Wikipedia. There has been no lead changes in the A main since 2022. So that tells you how much track position means and getting out in the lead early.
Larson, 2 of those.
Yes. Yes.
Something about Larson, Silva, and Knoxville.
Oh, that's like Majeski and Noodleman, right? You know they're going to come in and they're going to be ready to go.
Yep.
For the record, Larson is 3 of those.
Crazy.
He's won 3 of them and led every single lap in all
He
3 of
won.
them.
He won in 23, 24, and now 26. The last time there was a lead change was when Donnie Schatz took the lead in 21, 22.
Yeah, it's kind of a head scratcher for everyone else. Going,
So,
what do we got to do just to lead a lap?
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, when your prelim night, um,
Yeah, just go in your prelim night.
yeah. Yeah. But this is probably my nature finally giving Larson redemption for the lackluster Indy doubles that he had and
Yeah.
was able to pull this double off that was the most improbable and spontaneous doubles that you could probably think of.
Oh, absolutely. Because he was in the car, not even knowing. And Cliff Daniels, yeah, we'll get you a plane. Don't worry about it.
Yep. Yep. But again,
And
right?
then
You mentioned it earlier.
on top of that, not only getting the plane, but then the police escort to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Which
Like,
sprint car racing just means more.
talk about pulling out all of the stops. Like, Let's call local law enforcement. Let's get them there.
Yeah. What a commitment though from Rick Kendrick, Cliff Daniels, and the entire organization to make that happen
Yeah.
and to let them do it nonetheless.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mentioned earlier. I think that just says how dedicated they are to letting him do this, right?
Yep.
Like, if they were kind of questioning it, they'd have been, oh, well, it's going to be tight. I don't know. Do we want to spend the resources to do it? Well, not only did they do it last second, they also said, all right, let's make this happen.
Yep. Hey, get ready. This is happening.
Yeah. So, yeah, very impromptu double. And I think, like you said, again, for him, a little bit of a redemption in terms of what his Indy 500, Coke 600 kind of deals
Yep.
they shook
Uh,
out.
and then we got classic Blount Larson in the post racing review, which is always good because he goes, and this is where we lose our PG rating, by the way. I hope all the fans bitching and moaning about us running our prelim night now understand why we did this.
The thing is you can't just sit out with speculation.
Yep.
There's too much money and too much time and resources invested in this to say, oh well, we might not be able to, let's not do it. It just doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I tell you what, I'm glad he was able to do it. We got a spectacular Knoxville Nationals. I'm sure the field hated to see him do that. Um, but nonetheless, right? I think that was a fantastic Knoxville Nationals as an event as a whole.
And I mean, that's you talk about it. Silva's got cars in the rafters from when he won the Knoxville Nationals. Like
Yeah.
it just, I mean, how you can't put cars in the rafters every time you win that thing. You go broke building race cars.
Well, when you win 300 grand, that helps you build race cars.
That is true too. That is very true
That
too.
paid for next year's car.
Yeah, you can hang that one up, and they might be building one yet this week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all in all, just kind of a crazy, wild turn of events and just how that all played out. So, yeah,
So
kind of any final bigger takeaways from the Nationals?
this is the big car version of the Chili Bowl Nationals.
Yep.
And I love it.
So many
It's the
big
whole
hits.
reason why I got the Dirt Vision subscription to start with, was so I could watch the Knoxville Nationals.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the Wheelman of the Week. And man, we kind of got a wild array of we got 6 guys in the category. I'll take the last 2. If you guys want to divvy up the first 4.
I guess I'll take the middle 2 if Cam wants to read off the first 2.
Yep.
Since I'm getting assigned the first 2, just talked about it. Kyle Larson wins the whole shebang and wins everything in the sprint car during the Knoxville Nationals week. So Kyle Larson, nominee number 1. Staying there in a prelim night, Sheldon Haudenschild wins prelim night in a 3-wide last lap pass for the win. Absolutely wild move, going 3 wide and pulling her off on the last lap. So Sheldon Haudenschild, nominee number 2.
Talking about one of the guys we talked about previously, Dan Ebert breaks through for his first career nationally touring super late model victory in the Topless 100. And then Marcus Ericsson in the IndyCar race on Sunday afternoon, what felt like half the field on the last run, or in the last 20 laps that I at least watched it, to get his first win in what was 63 races since his previous win.
Final 2 for you. A little bit interesting and different ones, but definitely worth noting. If you follow the Midwest Truck Series, Eddie Dabrowski, the full-time flagger for the Midwest Truck Series, also part-time flagger racer at Slinger. Sunday night got his first Crown Vic win. So he was pretty pumped about that. So 17 years old, I believe they said he is.
Yeah.
So kind of starting to dabble with the racing side of things, but also supporting the Midwest Truck Series on their full-time adventure is they unfortunately got rained out on Saturday with their event. And then the last one for you, Brandon Reichenberger, he won the quarter-mile late model race up at Norway. Kind of a couple interesting notes with that. He collected the Quick Time Award. He collected the Hard Charger for passing the most cars, and that is his. He is the back-to-back winner, so two-time winner of that event. So, kind of racing the quarter-mile car that they had built, and him and his dad are kind of sharing the seat at WIR on Thursday nights. He took the wheel and said, "I'm going back to back." So,
Well, I'm not even gonna put this out there. I'm going Kyle Larson.
Cam, I'm between two really, but
Correct.
Larson's one of them.
Larson's one of them.
Ebert would have been my other.
Evert would have been my other.
Which I could have guessed that out of both of you.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sticking with Larson. That's
yeah,
my vote.
it's hard. I so bad want to give it to Ebert being the first one. This is a moving target every week, and we said the first ones are important, but I don't know. I think with the way Larson won everything in the improbable, I think it's got to go to Larson.
Fair enough.
He literally won everything. I mean, what he didn't. There wasn't a race he entered that he didn't win.
Yep.
Quite literally.
So does Wheelman of the Week, does that span? I guess, yeah. Wheelman of the Week, I guess, are we considering a bunch of over the course of a week, like multiple events, or is Wheelman of the Week
This is
specific to one event?
it's an award where it's prestigious and the criteria doesn't matter.
Because if you're going just off of Knoxville Nationals, passing 0 cars
I'm just gonna argue that.
Hey,
and leading
up
50 laps on a track that you can't pass on, is that really Wheelman?
well, I'm gonna tell you this. We call this the Wheelman of the Week award, right? Well, he won literally the entire week.
So that was the previous question that
I guess this week it has to be the week.
you had your ears on, but you weren't listening. Is Wheelman of the Week, that's what the question is. Is this over the course of a week in multiple events, or is Wheelman of the Week an event specific award?
It could go either way because we've done it both ways.
Are you arguing? You're arguing for the Ebert conversation, I'm assuming.
Correct. But he's popping tires and passing cars.
Cash and checks.
And cash and checks.
Yeah, I don't know. With Larson winning everything, I think I got to stick to Larson. Unfortunately, we at some point need to define this collectively.
Because I mean, we've had co-winners, we've now got week-long winners, we've got event winners. We've done it to where it's just amazing moves, first-time winners. Yeah.
So where does that put us?
That is second. That is Larson's second win.
Only the third winged sprint car driver, technically.
He's both of his have been in the sprint car.
Correct.
I already got it marked down. He's on here already.
Oh, gotcha. I was just going to put them in order. Yeah, you're good. I got you. I'm following.
Sure.
Yeah. So again, continues to be a little bit of a moving target week to week, as we say.
That'll probably be a 2027 rule change.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit the rule book on that and get that kind of situated and sorted in terms of that. So, okay, Schedules, we have those posted. Those are all out on all social medias. Those are situated. What maybe a race or two that you guys have your eye on for the upcoming week, in terms of what you're watching or keeping an eye on more specifically?
Well, I mean,
Um,
if you're talking to me, I didn't realize Marshalltown's about an hour from my house, so I should have been at Marshalltown tonight, um, in Iowa for Flow Racing Night in America. But are you asking for one or a few?
Ah,
what are you
one to
thinking?
three. Yeah, what are you thinking?
Whatever racing you want, you got.
This is true.
Um, you guys can call me biased, but I follow a lot of High Limit and Lucas solely because um, the best streaming service that is sponsoring this episode, Flow Racing, covers. So um, we got a good share of got Mason City tomorrow night for another 20,000 to win for Flow Racing Night in America. You got High Limit, Santa Maria Speedway, Thunderbolt Raceway, and then they're at Placeville. They got So usually, if you ask me what I'm watching or races I'm intrigued by, it's the greatest racing streaming service that we have, which is anything on Flow Racing.
Right.
Kind of, I
I'll
have my
kick it
eye
over
on.
to our Dirt Vision representative.
Well, hopefully, if everything goes right, I'm probably not going to be watching Dirt Vision this weekend because I'm probably going to be at the track. Um, One of the things I forgot to put on the schedule that I realized was coming up, the Orange Blossom at Jefferson Speedway, the Twin 61s this weekend.
Yeah, they
Um,
got a stacked entry list for that.
yeah, it's starting to roll in a little bit. Some guys that there's no real other super late model racing. There is the CWRA at the Dells. But as far as the touring stuff goes, there's really nobody running. So all them guys are, some of them are starting to hop over there. I'm hoping to back that up with a trip to Angel Park. The IRA Sprint Cars and Badger Midgets will be racing at Angel Park. It's Cornfest weekend down there.
Nice. Kind of a couple, and I'll kind of fill some holes, I guess, in some other races. Hunt the Front Super Nerd Series has been rain plagued. They're going to try to get a couple in. They are looking at going to Thunderbolt and Smoky Mountain. Um,
Caswell and Smoky Mountain.
as well as Smoky Mountain. Sorry. They're going to try to get going. World of All Elite Models are damn near right between us. Maquoketa, Iowa. They got Thursday, Friday, Saturday race, and 3 nights of racing there. Accompanied by modifieds. Cars Tour back in action at Anderson, both the pros and the late model stocks. And then on the NASCAR side of things, New Hampshire is in action. You have the NASCAR Wheel and Modifieds, the Craftsman Truck Series, and the NASCAR Cup Series. So they're coming down the stretch in terms of counting points. So that will be something to keep an eye um, on Sunday. So that kind of shuffles us over. Speaking of New Hampshire, we're going to go picks. Cam, you get the first one.
Um, yeah, he's gonna roll that momentum right into New Hampshire. Give me the 5. Give me Kyle Larson.
Ooh, okay.
The Fords have been good here. He's been kind of a steady Eddie for me personally. I will take Denny Hamlin.
You're gonna leave me my number one and my number two picks open. Now it's just a matter of which one I want to go with.
Come on.
For listeners and viewers, his two options, Blaney's in it every single week.
Correct.
So that's one. Two, I'm gonna guess you're gonna go.
RFK camp, probably.
No, I'm
Reese?
thinking he's in the Toyota camp.
Gibbs? Bell?
I'm gonna throw you a curveball on this one. You talked about momentum and keeping it going. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Give me Joey Logano.
Whoa. Fords are traditionally fairly good there.
Yep.
Uh, so, yeah, Fords are kind of always someone to keep an eye on. Brad Keselowski's had good runs there. Priest is going to have lap time running modifieds and doing that. So, Fords are usually
Barry's been running good there. He ran good there last year.
yeah, absolutely. Kind of wraps up kind of a little bit shorter episode for us this week. That kind of wraps up the scheduled stuff. You guys have any kind of final thoughts as we wrap up 141?
We're in the middle of August. The end of the year is coming up here. Hit the tracks at championship weekends, maybe starting to roll in, or specials are starting to roll in, right? Hit the racetracks up before they, in a couple months here, shut down for the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that wraps up 141, episode 141 of your Tuesday Track Talk podcast. Again, as always, if you're headed to somewhere we might be in the area, let us know. And we'll let you know if we're going to be there as we're kind of scoping out what's coming up on our schedule as well. So, again, support your local racetrack, whether it be the big ones, the local ones, the dirt, the asphalt, anything in between. Make sure that they are taken care of. Again, as always, hit the little white guy down in the corner here. That'll get you subscribed and notifications for any of the content. But until then, we will see you next week for another edition of the Tuesday Track Talk podcast.